Hello, I'm Ann Hughes, President of the Adrian Area Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure today for Ask a Member to welcome Catrina Ossmann from Catrina Ossmann Marketing. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Catrina, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. I know you're also working for the Lenawee United Way. You've worked for the Lenawee Economic Development Corporation. Tell us how you got to having your own business as well.
Sure. Yes, I worked in economic development, and I worked a lot with small businesses, putting together workshops, doing research for them. It was sort of became after they got to know me through those workshops that they would call with questions if there was something they couldn't find out, if there was something they were interested in. So when my job ended with economic development, I decided to do my own marketing business and focus again on those workshops and trying to help out those small businesses in the area.
Okay. Are you still getting a lot of those calls?
Yeah. Every once in a while, I think it's taken a little while for people to figure out where I ended up, but I really think people that own small businesses are, they're so busy. There's so much to doing that if there's something I can do to help out or give a resource or have a class to help get some of those answers and information, that's what I want to do.
I think what's hard when you own a small business is that you have to do everything.
Exactly.
And it's the marketing, it's the buying, and it's the employees if you have those. If you don't have those, it's even worse because then you really do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And probably, am I right, the marketing sometimes gets just kind of left behind?
Yeah, so lost in the shuffle. Just like you said, they're the HR, accountant, they're trying to do a lot of different things. So with marketing, they might have tried a few different things, or they might have a website up and no one updates it, or they've tried a few radio ads or newspaper ads, but nothing real cohesive. So what I try and do is make sure that we have some goals and really know where you're going, who you're trying to target, and come up with an entire plan, so you're not just hit and miss on the things that you're trying to do to promote your business.
You mentioned you have a website, or you have Facebook, or you have LinkedIn, and
Sure.
it's the time issue. I think if I have one
Absolutely.
question, I think a lot of us know what should be done or what needs to be done. But when you put in 10 hours, 12 hours sometimes a day, and as you go out the door, you think, I didn't change the story of the homepage, or I didn't Facebook or tweet or link or all those other
Sure.
things that are out there. Do you have any secrets? How do you find time to do that? To make sure you do something every day so your site's different?
Yeah, I think it is just having that plan and really trying to look at an entire, if it's a yearly calendar, a monthly calendar, depending on how much or how often things change. And then really having that plan on for this week, we want to make sure we're promoting this upcoming event, or that we have this promotion coming up, or that we, and if you can sort of see ahead and know when those busy times are going to be, to plan for it, and for those down times to sort of have that chance to catch up. So to really try and, it's a lot of work sort of up front doing it that way,
Yeah.
but if you can sort of get ahead of it, that helps.
Yeah. And you and I've talked before, and there's so many good ideas, and you've got so many good ideas, and one of the things you told us was take a calendar, and so on this date you want to do this, make sure you do this on your website, and this you want to send out to Facebook, but again, it's
that time.
It's
Yeah.
just it's doing it.
So that's why, I think how my business and being a consultant can help and stuff, sort out. And there are also, just like you said, so many different options with websites and social media and ads and so many different things to be able to focus in and know where you're going instead of trying to, juggle everything and keep up on all of those different things. But yeah.
So are you better off to pick 2 or 3 or 4 things to focus on and do it well, than try to spread yourself so thin that you can't do it all?
Yes, I would say to choose the few and the ones that are reaching your audience.
So that's the first thing you still got to do is
Yeah,
identify
you
that
still-
target market and find out what your niche is.
Right, because if you're tweeting all day long and that's not where the people that you're trying to target are looking, then it's wasted time.
So how do you find out where they're looking?
Yeah, that's the important
That's
piece
why we
to it.
call you.
Exactly. But to do that market research, to ask your customers to, do surveys, to do things, and see where that engagement level is. If you already have a couple of those, if you have a website, if you have Facebook and things, to look at some of those numbers and things that you already have, and look at where that engagement level is, and focus on those.
Okay. Do you face some of these same problems?
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
you're the expert, you're the consultant, but you also have a small business and you have another job. How do you get it all done?
Yeah, and thankfully I'm very organized, so it is pretty good to be able to keep everything straight and know when I need to be focused on when I have big events or big things coming up for both. But it is still hard. I have a workshop and things coming up, and to get the word out and to do all those things, it's the same challenge that other businesses have too.
Somebody going into a home-based business, and I think, am I wrong, but are we getting more and more home-based businesses?
I've seen a huge growth in that area locally. Absolutely.
Probably maybe people who have lost their jobs in the economic downturn, or who want to work at home and stay with their children, or who just don't want the rat race of 9 to 5 or 9 to 8 or whatever, 5 days a week.
It's been a big, to me it's been a big surprise, but I think it is a lot of the reasons that you explained, and then there's been changes with like the cottage food law and things with Michigan, where they've made it easier now for people that want to make food products and things at home from their home kitchens. So there's people that just see also opportunities to make extra money and things on the sides. But I think home-based businesses is a growing area, but then that group needs a lot of extra support because they don't have those.
They have even less.
Right.
than
Employees, a
some small
storefront.
businesses.
Right. They're missing out on some of those big things. So it's an important group to sort of make sure that they're still networking and staying connected.
Yeah, I know the Chamber is working more with some of our home-based businesses now. That's a growing segment within our organization. You mentioned the cottage food law, and I know you're real involved in that and helping get the information out to people who are interested in preparing foods in their home and selling them elsewhere. Can you tell us about that briefly?
Yeah, and actually that started a couple years ago when that law first came out. And people started calling and things of economic development and asking about the law, because when, of course, on the state of Michigan website, it wasn't very clear, wasn't very helpful. So we had Michigan State University Extension Office come in and do a workshop and sort of help people through the process. What the surprise was to me was how many people were interested in doing that. So I've run 3 workshops, had like over 70 people come through there just to learn about the law, and thankfully MSU Extension has really done a good job of putting together a great program to help people, not just with what the law is about and explaining sort of what you can and cannot do, but they've done a good job to add sort of a business plan element to it too, and making sure to know about how to market it and how to get involved with farmers markets and get involved with different things. It's one thing if you're just making the food and you're doing everything by the law, but I've been impressed that they included a lot more of that business information to help people with that next step.
So if people want to know more about the cottage food law or how to start one of those businesses in their own home, what should they do?
You can contact me or MSU Extension, especially the one in Hillsdale, has been really focused on it. There's a lot of information online, but I know that can get sort of confusing on what's more up to date and things on the other, because they have made a couple changes to that law. But I do hope to bring them back in and do more workshops to
I've
help
been
that group.
really impressed with the numbers that you have.
Yeah, no idea. As I know people have questions about it, but yeah, every time we have a workshop, we fill up the class. So
That's great.
so good.
If you had to give a small business person one tip, what's the most important marketing tip you tell someone in business?
I think it is to have that plan. And I always say that I don't want to overwhelm people with that means, some 12-page document or something with goals and objectives, even if it's just a few items that you write down, just so you know where you're going and who you're targeting. I think, just as we've talked about, there's so many different options, there's so many tools out there, that if you can really focus in on what your goals and what you've already established, that really helps make a difference on using your time wisely.
And if they want to call Catrina Ossmann and have you help them put that plan together, how do they get a hold of you?
I have my own website, katrinaossmann.com. ossmann.com, and a Facebook. And they can also call at 517-442-4796.
Okay, lots of good information, Catrina. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're most